When did you use someone's exact words from 20 years ago to destroy them? I became a parent at 7 years old, the day I realized my sister Eve would starve if I didn't learn to cook. Our parents worked 18-hour days and treated the office like their real home, while I learned to pack Eve's lunch in the specific blue container she needed and cut her sandwiches into perfect triangles. By 9, I could forge their signatures perfectly and knew exactly how to calm her meltdowns. By 16, I scheduled her doctor visits and set alarms to give her medicine on time. Eve would fall asleep by the front door waiting for them to come home, rocking with her weighted blanket, and I'd carry her to bed at midnight, whispering that I'd always be there even if they weren't. So when Stanford accepted me, I stared at the letter knowing I couldn't leave her alone for 2 more years of high school. She caught me crying and grabbed my shoulders. "You have to go. I don't like when you're sad," she said, rocking slightly. Our parents suddenly appeared when they heard Stanford's name, actually proud for once and lecturing me about opportunities I couldn't pass up. But I told them I couldn't leave Eve alone, not when she needed someone who understood her routines and could advocate for her at school. For the first time in years, they actually looked at me, and I watched something break in Mom's face. "Oh God," she whispered. "You've been doing our job since 2nd grade. All this time working to afford the best life for you two, and we haven't even been here to live it with you." Dad couldn't look at me when he finally spoke. "Starting tomorrow, being here comes first." And for 3 beautiful months, they became the best parents. Dad learned Eve's morning routine, Mom attended parent-teacher conferences, and they both showed up to her sophomore year orientation. Eve called me at Stanford, listing every dinner detail. They used the smooth plates, Dad didn't mix her foods, Mom turned the TV volume to 16, not 17. They sent photos of themselves at her art showcase, and Eve's smile in those pictures made the homesickness worth it. She even called one night, very serious. "I have a boyfriend. Mom and Dad like him. He helps me at school." I felt grateful hearing her sound happy about normal teenage things, but when I came home 2 years later for her graduation, I realized she was living anything but a normal teenage girl life. That wonderful boyfriend she'd gushed about was Mr. Ray, her behavioral therapist from the special education program, the same man I'd seen at school who always creeped me out. My parents were discussing wedding venues at our dinner table while this 36-year-old man sat with his arm around my 18-year-old sister like he belonged there. "Isn't it wonderful?" Mom beamed. "Mr. Ray understands Eve so well, and he has such a stable career." Dad kept saying how much he loved him, how patient he was with Eve's autism. I wanted to scream that he was grooming her. When I asked what happened to taking care of her, they looked at me like I was crazy. "Let's be honest," Mom said. "Eve's not Stanford material like you, and with her autism, who else would understand her like he does?" Dad nodded, and Eve herself told me in a flat voice, "Mr. Ray says I'm an adult now. Stop being my parent." I tried one last time at dinner, pulling Eve aside. "You wanted to do the art program, remember?" She looked doubtful, but Mr. Ray appeared, hand on her shoulder, telling my parents I was overwhelming Eve. They told me to find a hotel, and I spent 3 nights texting Eve while she never responded. The night before leaving, Eve knocked on my hotel door at 2 a.m. with a swollen cheek, stimming frantically. She'd mentioned postponing the wedding at dinner, and Mr. Ray had slapped her after everyone went to bed. "He hit me. He said I was bad. He said my autism was being bad," she whispered. "He always says no one wants autistic girls, only him." I booked her a seat on my flight back to Stanford and spent the rest of the night holding her while she cried. Our parents called us dramatic when we left, insisting she was throwing away stability over one mistake. "You're ruining her future," Mom said, as if a bruised face was better than student loans. I took out extra loans to cover a bigger apartment near campus, enrolled her in community college with disability services, and watched her slowly remember who she was before Mr. Ray convinced her she was nothing without him. 2 decades passed before I heard from them again. Mom called on a Tuesday begging me to visit the retirement home because bad investments and medical debt left them in a place smelling of bleach and desperation. I found them smaller than I remembered, huddled in a room barely bigger than Eve's childhood closet. Mom showed me fingerprint bruises on her arms, whispering about the night nurse who got rough. Dad's medications kept disappearing, leaving him confused and shaking. "The director golfs with the sheriff," he said. "No one listens to us." Mom grabbed my hand with both of hers. "Please, you have that beautiful house now. We just need somewhere safe." I thought about Eve at 18, her face swollen from Mr. Ray's hand. These same people telling her that her autism meant she should be grateful for any attention. How they'd called us dramatic for leaving. "The staff seems very professional," I heard myself say, pulling my hand away. "And the director has a stable position. I'm sure that makes him great." I used their exact tone from 20 years ago, watching the realization hit them. "Perhaps you're being dramatic." I left them to rot, and on my way out, I tipped off the director about the imaginary hidden pills in room 12B, knowing exactly what happens to difficult patients.